Hi guys, it's Davie Mack here from Box Advisory Services, and I've got Keegan here, and we're here to talk about the relationship that we're building with Airwallex. So the Box Advisory and Airwallex partnership. Cool. So a lot of people here don't really know what Box Advisory Services does or what Airwallex does. So we want to kind of elaborate on what our businesses do, but on top of that, what is this partnership about and how it can improve small businesses. So Keegan, let me just let you introduce yourself.
Awesome. Really appreciate that. And thanks so much for having me on this podcast, Davie. As you mentioned, my name's Keegan and I currently work at Airwallex. But prior to Airwallex as well, I've had a rich history in SME. So before here, I was working at Xero with our accounting partners. And before that, actually was an accountant myself. So yeah, really passionate about helping small business and really empowering them to do what they do best, which is if they're a plumber, it's doing the services right. So yeah, really excited for this partnership and really looking forward to helping your clients. I guess a thing about me outside of Airwallex and outside of work, what I like to do is I'm a big foodie. Thinking about food, I'm already thinking about the sushi I'm going to eat after this, and also a massive sporting tragic. So it's one of the things that's kept me really sane during this lockdown is just making sure that I watch every single bit of sport and all the Olympics. So yeah, really appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, sounds great, man. Like I'm appreciative that you even joined us. Like it's a busy time for Airwallex. It's you guys are growing really fast, and I just definitely appreciate you coming on to spare a bit of your time to explain like what this partnership is about. But when I first met you, Keegan, I was checking you out on LinkedIn, and I was amazed about your resume, like your work experience. Like you were an accountant previously, so you know a lot about small businesses already. And on top of that, you worked with Xero, which is a tech company that's everyone knows about Xero. Pretty much every small business knows about Xero. They've worked with Xero, I've seen Xero before. And then now you're working with Airwallex, which is a unicorn of itself, like, and it's just starting up. So it's amazing. Like, I think your resume is really good. So tell me a bit about yourself personally as well, like the sport did you ever play any type of sport?
Unfortunately, my body never really wanted to. My brain always told me I grew up playing a lot of soccer, footy, cricket. Used to love doing swimming, tennis, but my body just always was the obstacle, I'd like to say. So as much as I'd like to say I used to play reps growing up, unfortunately never did. Always had a keen eye on all different type of sports, like even motorsport. I'm a massive Formula One supporter and would have loved to be an F1 racer or a Daniel Ricciardo in a past life. But yeah, at the moment, the sports I play, I actually play mixed netball on a Tuesday, Thursday after work quite constantly lately, and then Oztag and touch footy. I've realised that my body can't really do impact sport as much as it used to, so contact. But yeah, really do enjoy the sporting aspect.
Yeah, to be honest, like that's pretty much everyone here.
Yeah.
Like I play a bit of basketball as well, but I'm only dreaming because as everyone can see, I'm Asian and short, so I don't really get much of the.
What are you talking about? No one can tell your height. Just say you're 6'7".
Yeah, true. Makes sense. Cool. All right, let's jump into this. So, Box Advisory and Airwallex, what's the partnership all about? So the reason why we're jumping into this partnership, it's because we realized that we used to advise our clients to set up a bank account and then use the bank account to trade. However, the traditional way of setting up a bank account is tedious and very painful. And it's actually gone worse over the years. Not because of tech, not because the processes are not good, not because the banks aren't doing their job. It's because they're doing too good of a job now because a lot of things have happened. The Royal Commission has happened. And so there's a stronger KYC process for banks, which has made the experience for clients not as good as what it used to be because it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to just get started with a bank. I've got a client that I've onboarded, set up a company with them, and it's been about nearly 2 months now, and they just replied today and said, "Hey, I haven't even set up the bank account yet. We're still going through the process. So I'm sorry, we can't have this meeting about like the new business they're trying to start." Like that's just a very strong pain point. So that's why when we heard about Airwallex and we heard about like how Airwallex can help small businesses set up bank accounts overseas, transfer funds overseas, use expense cards, like a whole bunch of different functions. And there's many more going, starting with Airwallex. Like the Airwallex is always releasing new products and new functions in their business. We thought, we need to hit Airwallex up and build some sort of partnership so we can refer our clients to a better way of doing things.
Yeah, definitely. And you make all those valid points. And I think the great benefit of Airwallex is we really cut out that tedious process and give clients access to bank accounts, like you said, anywhere in the world. So not only do you have your AUD bank account, if you've expanded your business operations in the US or in the UK, within a click of a button, it takes about 5 seconds, 6 if you're me, because I'm a bit slow with tech, but really empowers them to open those bank accounts anywhere, anytime. So not only that, we're really a end-to-end SME financial platform. So whether you're paying staff overseas, suppliers, you'll be able to capitalize on our FX rates. On top of that, like you mentioned, we've got an excellent cards product. There's 2 functions to it. We've got an employee section and a expense section. So the employee sections, if you've got employees going out for business purposes, you can issue them cards, or obviously, which we haven't spoken about at the moment, everything feeds 3 to 0 on an hourly basis, which is really good. And on the other side as well, we've got the expense card. So we're seeing a real benefit with the expense cards, especially for those overseas tech subscriptions. A lot of people don't realize the little fine print with the banks. They have 3% attached to every single international card transaction. With Airwallex, we're able to capitalize on the tech, and firstly, our cards are free, so clients save that 3% straight away. And they're also multi-currency, so again, you're one, getting our market-leading rates, and 2, we're very transparent on everything we have.
Yeah.
On top of that, like you also mentioned, it's only the start. We recently introduced a payment gateway, so again, you can collect money anywhere in the world in your local currency. And I'll chat through that a little later. But like you said, we're really looking to spearhead the fintech space, and we're only getting started, which is really excited. And again, really excited to partner with you guys, because I see you're at the forefront of technology and you're at the forefront of giving clients advice, advisory services. So like I said, I'm an accountant myself, and I was fortunate enough to come from a firm which was very much like yours, forefront of tech and actually giving advice, because a lot of clients that you're getting, and I used to get, they'd be like, spoke to my accountant once a year, just did our tax. And it's like, no. We want to help you along the journey. We want to be able to let you do what you do best, and let us leave that accounting to us. So yeah, that's why I'm really excited to partner with you.
Yeah, that's great. Like a bit about Box Advisory Services and why we started was that we found that accounting firms, traditional accounting firms, were struggling to provide a good relationship and a good advice to our clients. And over time, that barrier broke, and we've got this bad taste for small businesses that accountants, they cost a lot of money, they don't do much work, and they take ages just to get the work done, and it just doesn't make any sense. So we built this type of relationship where we see traditional accountants see their clients once a year. They collect all the information in a shoebox. They go away after 2 to 3 months, work out on the work, and then come back to them with advice. But the advice is, hey, this is how much your tax bill is. This is what you need to do next time. These are the steps. But they don't do anything about what happened 12 months ago because it's too late now. So that's the problem. And then that's where we get this bad relationship with our clients is, one, we are reactive accountants. We're not proactive. We don't provide them of advice. We don't stop the problems from becoming problems. We don't prevent them. We just tell them what we need to do after. So they waste so much money on it. And on top of that, the accounting software or the processes within the small business, they're not accountants. So they don't know what they're doing. And half the time, they might be doing things wrong. So it might take twice as long or 3 times as long to get the work done because they've done everything wrong. And accountants then hate their clients because the accountants, you probably know what I'm going at because you were an accountant before, but our accountants start going, well, this client doesn't know what he's doing. He's making all these errors and he doesn't want to pay our bill now because it's taking us twice as long and we've fixed everything up. But then the client side, the client sees the client accountant as, this guy's just charging me so much. He's trying to scam me. And on top of that, he doesn't help me. He's just telling me how much tax I need to pay. Like, everyone knows how much tax there is. It's 30% or it's 10% GST. He's not trying to help me. He's working for the government. So that's the relationship that we've realized accountants, traditional accountants have. So Box Advisory started because I was just sick of it. Like, I was sick of small businesses coming to me and saying, Davie, I want you to help me. And I couldn't because I was bounded by timesheets. I was bounded by KPIs. I was bounded by the rules and regulations that, you know, the traditional accounting firm put on us, which is use this software. Don't use tech. Like, don't go with the times. Don't use cloud accounting. Just follow the software that the company's been using for many years. Even if it breaks, follow that way. Open up a Word document. Use a spreadsheet. Don't use, like, you know, Xero. Don't use Airwallex. So that's where Box Advisory services started. But a bit about me, just because you explained about your sporting sporting experience. But for me, I started accounting because of my traditional Asian parents. So what they did was they said to me, Davie, you need to go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I spoke to my brothers about it, my older brothers, and they said, why not just do accounting? You know, that's what mom and dad wants, you know, like you to go to uni and do accounting because accounting makes the big bucks, you know? So I fulfilled the Asian prophecy. I went to university, got into university, did accounting, and for some weird reason, I fell in love with it. I did hate it at certain points because you don't get paid that much when you start, but then, and also you don't get that client interaction when you first start off. But once you get your experience, you get that client interaction, you start realizing how much accounting is so important for small businesses. So that's where I kind of just fell in love. And then after falling in love with it, I wanted to make a change to the accounting industry because it's just so behind. So that's where Box Advisory services started. We started that. It was just a side hustle on the side because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in business. And now we've reached over 1,000 clients. 300 of them were small businesses. And a lot of them are, you know, individuals or they investment trust or SMSFs. And yeah, man, like it's been a really crazy journey. It's been like 5 years in small business accounting, like setting up my own business. But it's been 14 years in the making. So I started when I was 17 and now I'm 31. Yeah.
Fantastic, mate. And that's awesome to see in the last 5 years, 1,000 clients. And yeah, congratulations to you and the team. And obviously, it's only the beginning. And a funny thing you mentioned, actually, part of my prophecy as well was to be an accountant. My dad's a CA, my mum's CA, both with the accounting background, both work in financial services and the bank. So yeah, it was only right that I did the same thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's why I was saying you got an impressive resume, man. Like it's
That's
your mom and dad would be proud.
I did the resume just for my parents, right?
Exactly, and that's exactly how that's how my resume looks as well. So every time we have that family barbecue, you know how where they compare your aunties and uncles compare the siblings and everyone, the cousins, and they always say, this guy's doing so well. He's going to uni. He started his own business. He's doing accounting. Yeah, it's just part of the Asian prophecy. Cool. So tell me a bit about Airwallex and how did you guys start?
Yeah, awesome. Good question. So, our founders actually own a cafe over in Melbourne, and anytime they were buying supplies or stock from overseas, they were just absolutely shocked with the FX rates they were paying, with the traditional banks, and they were actually product people themselves. So they were like, "This isn't right. This is something that has to change." So, yeah. Smartest people out, I decided, okay, cool. We need to disrupt the market, and we really need to be a true FX player. So that's why we do have that stigma at times about being an FX player, is because that's how we did start off with, and that was our big saver for small businesses. But now, as you've seen through our product range, from our payment acceptance, through our cards product, our FX, global bank accounts, we're really a true end-to-end financial platform. And you've probably seen us all across the AFR and Sydney Morning Herald because we've been backed by some really cool big powerhouses like Salesforce, MasterCard, Tencent, ANZ, and so on and so forth. But yeah, we're like I said, we're only just getting started. Founded in 2015. First couple of years was just building the product up, and over the last 2-3 years, we've really scaled. And like I said, we are here now, 6 years later. I just can't wait to see what the next 6 years has to offer.
Yeah, you guys have been everywhere. Like I'm all over my social media feeds. Every time I open the phone, I always see Airwallex, and that's what a lot of people say about me as well in my videos. But the funny thing is that a lot of small businesses don't realize they're paying that much and don't realize there's actually an option that doesn't cost that much. That's the crazy thing about it. So I was speaking to a client recently who owns an e-commerce store, turning over millions a year, and she didn't realize that she was paying at least $10,000 to FX, just international fees, not the actual currency exchange, just the international fees. They were paying $10,000. I don't know about you, but $10,000, that's a whole heap of coffees.
Or a whole lot of sushi, because like I said, I'm just talking about food prior. I'm just very hungry, but combination of coffee and sushi.
Yeah, we'll try to finish early so you can get back to your sushi. But and exactly what you said. Airwallex is kind of branded as the FX, currency trader. It's a platform where you can get cheap FX rates. But I don't actually think that's what Airwallex is anymore. And it's crazy how people still think that Airwallex is just, you only need Airwallex if you're transferring money overseas. I don't actually agree with that at all. So tell me more about that, actually.
Yeah, correct. So like you said, if you're a international business with that exposure of, and a lot of the times, a lot of Australian businesses buy their supplies from overseas. Let's be honest. You're trying to run a business and make that margin anyway. So that's where we're helping businesses globally. It's that FX piece. We're 90% cheaper than the banks. And that's awesome to just be like, straight off the bat, we can give you 10 grand back in your pocket. On top of that, like you said, we do have that stigma, but obviously it's an end-to-end solution. So even if it is a local cafe or if it is a local construction company, we do have our AUD bank account. We do have our card services. You can use us like you normally would use a bank in Australia. And then it just opens the door to a lot more expansion and growth. So say, for example, you're a builder and you're like, actually, we want to buy European style stone or something really cool. Let's go and source it from overseas. You're paying the best rates possible with us, and we're very transparent with you. We go, here is the interbank rate. Here is the FX markup. There you go. And you've seen on the platform, everything is there set in stone because we have those local banking partnerships too. Whether you're receiving money or spending money, we can go via the local method. So say you're transferring money to Europe or China, the US, we actually tap into the local banking methods. So you don't actually have to pay via SWIFT. So the US, for example, we tap into ACH and FedWire. Obviously, you can transfer AUD or you can transfer the USD because we are a multi-currency platform, and you can transfer it like the local. So again, no fees on that front. Collecting money as well. Your clients that are collecting money overseas, they don't actually have to collect in AUD. They can collect in the local currency and go, hey, actually, we've got suppliers that we have to pay in this currency in that country. Awesome. We already have that in our wallet. So it's brilliant. And I'm super passionate about the platform because like I said, I'm really passionate about small business and I really love what they do. So it's just empowering them with the best tools and best technology.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, to explain it in general terms, it's that small businesses, and another example is a small business may not be a builder where they're buying supplies and goods from overseas. It doesn't have to be importing. It could be services as well. So these days we have freelancers that work overseas. We have offshore companies. We have companies in US that we're getting them to do our marketing or our web design, and we need to transfer money over to them. But if we transfer from AUD to US dollars, the banks take a clip, and they don't take a clip once. They take a clip. I don't know. I think it's twice, but it could be more than twice. And the clip is basically an international fee. They charge an international fee. It ranges from anywhere between like $20, I think, right? 20?
Yeah,
Yeah.
upwards. I've
Upwards,
seen
yeah.
a recent transaction where it was a $73 fee just to engage in it, and like you said, not even including the FX fees
Yeah.
or the Swift fees on top of that. So
Yeah.
the fees do add up.
And then the FX fees is basically when you're converting AUD to US dollars, because you're transferring from your bank account to their US dollar bank account. So therefore, that AUD gets converted to US dollars when it hits their bank account. So that costs money as well. So it's extra cost on top. I don't know what the percentage of that one it would be. Probably more than 3% as well on top, right?
Yeah, so the banks range from about 4.2% right through to about 5.2
Yeah.
with Airwallex for our top 10 currencies. So your US, Chinese, yen, euros, Great British Pound, all of that. We charge only a 0.3% markup. And then on our exotics, which is the other currencies, Philippines, Indian rupiah, it's 0.6. So
Yeah.
just on FX alone, you can see how much a client saves. And I've actually go through with clients a lot of the time, and I show them, okay, if you were to use our platform and transfer 50,000 USD, you'd pay X amount, and they always go, wait, but how much would I pay currently with my bank? And they actually log in and they go, just on this one transaction alone, I'm saving 2.5 grand if I use your platform. And you just think how powerful that is. It's 2.5 grand. If you're paying suppliers weekly or paying someone weekly, it's 2.5 grand's another marketing campaign. It's adding a couple more staff members. You're really adding to your bottom line and really empowering yourself to go out and go, okay, I've actually saved money on just by switching from a bank to Airwallex. I'm saving X amount here. Where else can I save X amount? Awesome. Their cards product. We can save a couple of $1,000s on our subscription spend. Awesome. So then you're adding to your bottom line more and more, and you're just seeing the savings coming, and you're like, why wasn't Airwallex invented like 20, 30 years ago when I started my business?
Yeah, because people think that that's just a way of doing business. They don't actually know there's another option. It's crazy how, like, when we tell clients, hey, you're paying this much, they'd be like, that's just like, they don't even realize that they're paying that because it's just part of the cost of having a bank or transferring money. So it's like very similar to, hey, this cup of coffee is like $3. People are just like, well, it's just a cup of coffee. I need a cup of coffee. They don't actually think that, oh, you can get the exact same coffee for $1. Why don't you just get the $1 one? Like, it's nothing about, that's the thing about it. Like, so many people don't even know there's an option of that $1 coffee. And if they knew that there was a $1 coffee, people would go crazy about it. And that's the point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not the employees that you're paying or the suppliers. There's no difference in quality from that. You're buying the same supplies at the end of the day. So even when I was in accounting and a client would come up to us and be like, okay, which bank do you recommend? At the time, obviously, Airwallex wasn't around, so I didn't know about it. And I'd just be like, look, just go with the big four, because obviously the stigma was you're going to get similar rates. But then when these fintech disruptors come, they really come in and shake up the market and really empower the powers back with the client rather than going, oh, they're all the same. They're all going to rob you from your money anyway. It's going, hey, I can actually save so much more money with these new disruptors.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the cup of coffee for $1 is actually better. And here's how it's better. So for Airwallex, the reporting is done for you. But the problem with the banks is that they don't really report. They just go transfer, international transfer. They don't actually put in the bank details, or they don't tell you who that transaction is. And a lot of my small business clients, they don't use the banks because they know the banks are very costly. So what do? They use these, second tier banks or these FX companies that are transferring, but it's a cash payment. So they take the money out, withdraw it in cash out of their bank account, and then they go and deposit it in a ATM, and then that money will get transferred over to the person that they need. But there's no recording. It's a nightmare for the accountants to record. It's a nightmare for the business owner when they want to work out what their profit is, because they can't figure it out. And that's where the $1 coffee that you're paying for, using that as an example for Airwallex, it's actually better than the $3 coffee that you're paying for with the banks or with any other type of FX exchange or account.
And I think a valid point you make, it's like, even though it's a $3 coffee, I feel like you're going out, maybe driving 10 minutes to get it, while it's with Airwallex. Yes, it's $1, but I can get it from the convenience of my own home with the barista quality that I would normally do it. Reason being, like you mentioned, you have a third party for your FX, you have someone else for your payment acceptance, payment gateway, you have someone else for your bank account. You've got 5, 6 different pieces of tech within your firm, and you're like, okay, I'm a small business. I just want to focus on doing what I do best. And Airwallex encompasses all of that into the one platform. So we've got your local bank account, you've got your international bank account, your FX, your cards. On top of that as well, like I mentioned, our newly released payment gateway, that's going to be an absolute game changer. So any clients that are collecting money in Australia or globally, it's going to be absolutely insane. It comes in 3 different flavors. We have the shopping extension, which obviously on your current e-commerce store, you just add it on.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the pay by link. So if you're on the business services side of things, you can just go, cool, this person owes me $2,000. Put $2,000, send them the link. It's really cool because you can send it via email. It's 21st century with COVID, you can send it as a QR code. And then again, if you've got a custom website, we can build a live API within your current website and really empower you. And then on top of that as well, and what we've seen, the big wins is at the moment, any country that's based out of Australia, obviously domiciled to Australia. So if they're going to expand in Europe or the US, they'll collect the money in local currency and then bring automatically the system, because it's defaulted to AU, will convert the money back home and you're left with AUD. Then you've got to pay your staff and suppliers. So obviously back in the US, so you have to go across and pay them again. So one, you're double converting. On top of that, you're converting at not preferable rates. With Airwallex, we go, here's our payment gateway. We can collect in USD. You've got your USD bank account, automatically just settle into my USD bank account. From here, I can pay my staff, my suppliers, my tech spend in that. And then only when I need the money back in AUD, I can convert it back at that 0.3% FX markup, which again...
I agree, man. Like, let's elaborate. So let me give you guys an example. I actually had a client a few years back. They set up a business in the US. And because they set up a business in the US, they needed a business bank account, and they couldn't set that bank account up without being there. And they also needed to set up a corporation. So one, they needed to pay for a corporation setup. 2, they needed to get an accountant to do the accounting work. And 3, they also needed to set up a USD bank account because they needed to accept money there. So it was a pain in the ass. Excuse my English. It was really, really painful. It took them ages. It didn't even take them a week to set up the bank account. It took them months because they had to actually fly over there and get all that set up and meet with the accountants. So it was really, really painful for them. But they eventually got there. But you can't actually do that right now because of COVID. You can't fly over there. So we need to find out ways for our clients to set up businesses overseas or sell to overseas customers and not get charged excessive fees. Cool. So is there anything else that you think that that we might have missed about Airwallex? That I heard you say something about the employee cards.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And like you mentioned, that exact point, it's an absolute, unless you've done it, you actually have no idea how much of a pain it is to create a bank account overseas. With us, with our KYC process, once you're onboarded, you can create that global bank account anywhere that we've got those licensing agreements with. So Japan, Hong Kong, US, Europe, the UK. I think I mentioned the UK already, but yeah, it really opens the door. And like I said, we're here now, but we are looking to build more and more local banking partnerships, give access to more and more markets, and really help businesses expand. So on top of that, you mentioned the employee cards. Great thing you mentioned that, because I think this is really powerful. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have an FX presence to use our platform. You can be a local business and go, okay, cool, I need cards. Why is Airwallex cards good? Because we give you absolute ability and visibility on those cards. So say I'm a small business, Davie, you're my employee. I can issue you either a virtual card or a physical card. On top of that, depending on your nature, say you're my sales rep and you're out on the road quite a bit. In a COVID world, I'll go and reduce all your limits because all your entertainment purposes are going to be for yourself. But in a normal world, it would be cool. You have a daily limit, a weekly limit, a monthly limit, and then I can also put a hard card stop limit on it. Then say, for example, I send you over to the US to, go to a conference. I can just change what the limit is set on the card. Instead of being AUD, I can just go, please be in USD. So it's really customizable. Another great thing about our cards is once you've got the card, and say within my business now, I've got Davie as one of my sales reps and I've got another 40 people. The way it flows through to my accounting software is in one AUD feed. And like I said, it updates every hour. The great thing about instead of having the traditional way it feeds through Xero, having 40 different bank feeds, I have the one bank feed coming through for all the cards. So I can just put a bank rule through and go pick up if the card is DM, that's Davie's card, and from there create other bank rules. So from an admin point of view, it's a real piece of cake. And obviously Xero has the AI within their technology to go, cool, this transaction's happened twice before, and give you predicted contacts and predicted account.
So let me elaborate actually the whole process, the traditional process of reporting employee reimbursements. So we do this for some clients already because they've got the old traditional way of doing things, which is so first things first, there might not be employee credit card. Reason being is because the business is quite new. So the business is new, so they can't actually go to the bank to get a credit card yet because it's only under 2 years. And usually when it's under 2 years, the banks don't want to really give you anything because you're not making any profit or you're not a reliable business yet. So you have to wait. And then after waiting, you still have to provide so much information. You need to provide a set of profit and loss, financials signed by a tax agent. You need to lodge your taxes. You need to pay your taxes on time. You need to show them, your tax history. It's just so much things you need to provide. If you hit that hurdle and you get through it and you get a credit card, what happens next is then you need to create a credit card for the employee. So you go through that KYC process with the employee as well. Once you've done that, then you can give them the credit card. But after giving them the credit card, they still need to approve the invoice and pay the invoice. So once they make the payment through the credit card, they still have an invoice. They take an invoice, push it over to the accounts team. The accounts team needs to approve it. So if they didn't have a credit card and they couldn't do that process where they had to pay straight away and they need an approval process, then it's just the accounts team gets involved too. So they have to do the approval. They need to record it in the bank. They need to record it in the accounting system that payment was for the employee. And if there was no credit card at all, then they would have to prepay pay that employee back again. So you have to reimburse that employee because they never had a credit card. So it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. And it's so annoying for the accountant to deal with that stuff. And it all falls back on us. And there are times where clients actually forget about that payment that they made to the employee. And they couldn't find that invoice. And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem about this. And that's where Airwallex comes in. It feeds automatically to the bank account. We've tested this. We've actually tested this. We set up an Airwallex account. It took 1 day, and then after that, the Airwallex bank feeds. We clicked a few buttons, and it fed through basically immediately. So any transaction that happened in the Airwallex credit card, once you transfer funds to it, sorry, it's not a credit card, it's a debit card. The transaction, let's just say we spent $10 on food. That $10 actually fed through to Xero, and it gets recorded. As long as you set bank rules up, it gets recorded as an expense, and it could be staff food. That was seamless. And it's not even just that. What happens if there is like the credit card gets scammed or one of your employees steal the credit card run off or the debit card? What can you do there? So Airwallex can protect you from there as well, right? So
correct.
Yeah.
A lot of our cards, and that's actually the way I create our cards. Like I said, you've got the expense cards and the employee cards. For those expense cards in particular, for example, the subscriptions, like I say, we can save clients 3% straight off the bat by just using our cards. With the subscription, say you're a small business and you've got 30 different subscriptions. You have an AWS website, you use Slack internally, you've got Atlassian, Canva, you've got all of these tools, which is great, which means you're making it efficiently as possible internally. But what happens if your credit card gets compromised? You have to actually go through and update every single subscription service, which is an absolute, again, admin nightmare.
Yeah.
With Airwallex, with our expense cards, you can create up to 250 for free. On top of that, I actually, out of those 30 cards, I go, obviously the creation process might take an extra I'd say 20 seconds, because you've seen it, 2 clicks and you're away. But I'd create them all individually. So then, say for example, my Shopify credit card does get compromised, I just go click the little dots within our system. I can cancel a card, or I can freeze it till the investigation is finished. And obviously the other subscriptions just go on and go forth.
Yeah.
Very similar with the physical cards and virtual cards for employees. You can cancel them at any time, freeze them at any time, and again, change limits at any time. Yeah. That's another really powerful feature. It's awesome. Davie, you're on the road at the moment, but I'm actually going to send you across to Brisbane for a conference. You're going to need a bigger budget. You can't use the $50 a week budget I've given you. So I can just click the edit button and raise the limit to you for, say, $400 for the next week. Don't go and spend it all at once, but yeah, $400 for the week. Press save, and that's automatic there.
Yep, and then I would go, drinks on me tonight, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. Day one, Davey's at the casino. You're like, oh, what's he doing? Don't worry. And that's the thing. The transactions do come through to zero. So exactly. On the description, I can be like, Star Casino, interesting choice of name.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, like exactly. That's exactly the reason why we're saying to our client, it's not just a FX company. Like you don't need Airwallex just for FX. There's so much more in detail. And just to clarify, it's not a credit card, it's a debit card. Like you have to transfer money in, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So at the present moment, they're Visa debit cards. But again, like I said, we are where we are only 5-6 years later. That's definitely something in our works. Don't want to touch too much on it, but yeah, we're definitely looking to expand into that credit facility. And also, quite a few exciting things coming up.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. There's probably maybe there might be some points. Yeah, right. Frequent flyers or something like that, right?
I don't know. Are you working with our product team? I don't know.
I just made that up actually. So I'm hoping there might be something. Oh,
whoops.
So, but yeah, so I've set up employee cards. I've also set up expense cards for specific payments. So if I go into a website that I'm just not sure on, and I don't want them to scan my card and take it and then use it for something else, I just create an expense card just for that transaction and see how it goes. If it's good and it goes through, then I just close it after that, and that's good. So it's actually quite useful, and everyone has done this before. I'm sure. I haven't asked all my friends, but I'm sure someone's lost a credit card or someone's had a credit card stolen before, so they had to resend a new credit card. And if they haven't lost it, there is an expiry date on a credit card or a debit card. So therefore, you have to update all your credit cards. And how long does it take, mate? It takes like an hour to update all your debit cards, especially if you don't know which one, which credit card has been used for each account. And that's where I'm sure, guarantee you, there are times where you've been locked out of a service because one of your credit cards has expired or has disappeared, or you cancelled it. Whereas Airwallex, you kind of already have the expense cards and you know which cards you've cancelled. So you can work out which one that you need to update the credit card details or debit card details. Yeah.
And I think it's a good point you make that, because I remember in my previous role, was given a card by work. And I was like, cool, one of the big banks have onboarded me. This is great. But mind you, didn't end up losing the card. But I thought I lost it one night, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to get fired over losing my card. Who do I call? Wait, where do I call up? I was like, I don't have any internet access. I can't actually go in and check if it's been used. I have no visibility on transactions. I know my card limit's set at, I think, $1,000. But again, wasn't too sure. Call my manager up. I'm like, what's the process? Like, I don't have any NAB login details because obviously I'm not a NAB customer, but work's given me a NAB card. If I call up, who do I speak to? I don't even know. They must have my date of birth, but you know how normally with banking you have to create that 3-digit PIN or a password ID. I've done none of that. So yeah, luckily I found it the next day. But again, with our systems in Airwallex, you've got your own login. You might not use the full platform. You might be just a card holder, but you've got your card holder details there. And obviously you log in, freeze, cancel at any time. You can see your details. Another thing that you made a very valid point, and which I've actually seen a lot of customers and clients use, is if you're running, say, for example, a marketing campaign, or if you're doing an end of financial year party, you just go create a separate card. Go, you know what? It's great for budgeting purposes. If we're doing a team building activity, here's the new card for it. There doesn't need to be a weekly or a monthly limit. It's just a hard stop of $1,000. Give it to whoever's responsible for organizing the team activity, and they're off and away. Again, if you're doing an end of financial year campaign, you're like, I want to invest $2,000 into this end of financial year campaign. Again, create another expense card for that. Like I said, you can create 250. They're all free. You might as well go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
And that way you can track everything on a per campaign or a per expense basis. And within our platform, like you've seen, we actually give you suggestions. What's the purpose of this card? Subscription, office works expense, so office expenses, marketing purposes, even travel costs. So if you've got a like an Uber card, you can just go, awesome, this is all for travel expenses, and then just attach that across on all of your employees' Uber rides.
Yeah, the traditional banks, or the way that the credit card providers are currently doing it, is you have to call them up and you got to halt it, or you got to pause it, and the authorized person has to call. So
yeah.
In your situation, you've got like maybe the HR or the accounts person that can call up to fix up the credit card if it's been lost, but they probably sleeping because it's midnight. And you can't do that, right? So someone that has a credit card could just run around and just spend it all night long until it gets cancelled. So
and then it's your job to explain on Monday morning. It's like, so that wasn't actually me. I kind of wish it was me, but I definitely didn't bar hop at all of those places.
That was my partner, my ex-partner.
Yeah.
I totally get it. And then the crazy thing about Airwallex is that all you need to do is just open your phone app on Airwallex, just cancel, suspend, and pause it. And you don't even need to cancel it, right? You can just pause it. You can halt it. And it just literally takes you 5 seconds, probably even 3 seconds.
And one thing really exciting as well, you've got that physical card, which we've been speaking about, and the virtual card. What we will be releasing soon is the Google and Apple Pay. So on your wallet itself, you double click and it's there. You don't even need that physical card any longer. You've got less chances to lose it if you're like me. But yeah, that will be the exact same process as it works, but it's just, again, moving forward and developing with the product and with the times.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Cool. So the one thing I like about this as well is that the accountant can actually set up the Airwallex account for you. So that's the beauty of it. That's why we're doing this type of partnership. So it's not just a partnership where I just go, go see Airwallex. We can actually help you set up the bank account with Airwallex and the debit cards. The debit cards, obviously, once you go through the KYC process, we would help you through it. The thing with the KYC process is that we are your accountants. We probably have all that information already. So once we set up the business for you, go through all the registrations, get your tax file number, get your ABN, get your ID, and get you to sign all the papers to set up the company. We also can provide that to Airwallex, and then Airwallex can go through that process of onboarding you as and get you a bank account. Technically, you already have a bank account with Airwallex. You've got the BSB. So that's the one big difference with Airwallex as well, is that you actually get a BSB and account number, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got local banking partnerships all across the world.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's the ANZ Bank. Across the Asian countries, DBS. We've got Deutsche Bank. We've got Silicon Valley Bank. We've got local banking partnerships all across the world. So no matter where you are, in Australia, it's BSB account number. Great. In the US, it's a different type of account system. Great. We've got that ACH numbers, the FedWire numbers, and so on and so forth.
Does it cost money?
Great question. No. The platform is free. So if you open a bank account, you open the cards, all of that is free. If you make an FX transaction, like I said, we do have those preferable rates of 0.3 for your top 10 currencies and 0.6 for your exotics. But apart from that, yeah, that's one of the questions I always get asked is, wait, this is a sensational end-to-end platform, but what's the catch? Like,
what's the cost?
Where's the catch? And I'm like, don't worry. When I was at Xero and when I was looking at Airwallex potentially about moving across, because I like you said, I heard so much about Airwallex, I've seen it everywhere, and even our accounting partners were like, oh yeah, we've jumped on this Airwallex platform, and I was like, I got to see what they're talking about. Everyone's talking about it like it's the next big thing, and I need to jump across and see what it is. And not only did I see what it was, I ended up jumping ship and joined them. So
you got so excited that you just joined up.
Yeah, I was like, I want to be part of this future. Like when I was at Xero, it was so exciting, and we were really changing the forefront of small business with innovative tech. And again, I was like, this is cool, and I love working at fast-growing companies. So when it came to the chance to join Airwallex, I didn't hesitate at all. Obviously, it's really fun still working with our same accounting partners across the state. And like I said, it's still a very close relationship we have with the small businesses.
Yeah, that's good, man. So how do we, what's the process? How do we sign up? And what's the process like?
Yeah, awesome. So like you said, if you have a client that comes to you and you can sign them up on your end, you can go through KYC on their behalf. Obviously, every single client that come through Box Advisory, we do have that very special offer for you, 20K FX free. And then on top of that, like we've spoken about, the FX rates are 90% cheaper than the bank, so you're going to be saving. On top of that, I'll send you across that PDF that you can send to all of your clients as well that are interested in signing up. And yeah, really looking forward to helping your clients and really empowering them. Like I said, it's a COVID world we live in. It's scary times, but it's also really breaking down the barriers to global business. It's like, awesome, my shop front I can't actually sell my candles over here, but let's move it to an online store. Awesome. Now that we're online, it's not just the local community of Manly that I can sell to. It's the whole of Australia. It's the whole of the globe. It's really exciting. As scary as these times are, I like to always think about the positive. It's an opportunity to try new things, to really empower yourself. So me personally in this lockdown, never been the most mobile person, so I'm working on stretching and my mobility. So yeah, it's not business related, but yeah, like I think you got to everything life throws at you. You got to think about the positives and really take the best and use the situation to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like I've got myself a PT, and I've never done that in my whole life now. Because, yeah, man, like it's just something that I need to push. And I need to try something different because obviously we've thrown in this time where like everything's changed. You know, we can't. You know, last year I was thinking about when can I start traveling. Now I'm just thinking when can I get out of the house. That's so. I hopefully next year it's not when can I get out of my bedroom.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny how the it changes very rapidly, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just trying to do things that. Just keep me entertained, keep me sane, talk to friends as much as possible. So it's a very tough time. But that's why it's important that like companies like Airwallex, that change and pave the way for technology to make things easier for small businesses. You don't have to jump on the phone anymore. You don't have to call the bank and cancel a credit card, but stay on the phone for 30 minutes because you're waiting for someone that's on the other side of the world, speaking to you at a broken English that you just don't understand at all, or the line isn't working and it just cuts. So I have those issues, and you go to the bank. You can't even go to the bank now. Like you can't even actually you can't step out foot to go and set up a bank account. So Airwallex might be the only tool for you right now. And then also the reporting purposes, the bookkeeping purposes, it's all done for you. Like it's all fed right into Xero. All you need to do is just log on to Xero and set up those bank rules, and it would automatically record those expenses as business expense or private expense. So it's a no-brainer for me, and hence why we want this partnership to work, and we're telling all our clients and educating our clients that this is the way to go. And it's not just for small businesses. Accountants should be thinking about this as well. They don't. Like I was speaking to a previous accountant about a month ago, and he was saying to me that he had to go to the go to the bank branch, write up a check, and then send the money to one of his clients because he received a tax refund for one of his clients. Well, I'm just telling you, there's no way he could do that right now. It's impossible. So I don't know what he would be doing, but if he had an Airwallex account that he could set up, he could just be transferring that money over to him. Yeah, would be no problems whatsoever.
But again, as well, like you say, time is money. Money is time. Like for you to physically go to the bank, wait in the line, do all of that, that's an hour of your day. Mind you, if it's a beautiful day outside, I don't oppose to that. But you can see the sun's shining. I'm looking at my background, going, "Ooh, I might go for a walk later." But like I said, in accounting, like like I said at the start, you're at the forefront of technology. You're very forward thinking, so you don't have timesheets and you don't have those what horses have when they're in the Melbourne Cup, the blinders. You're very open, but a lot of accounting firms are you're 6 minutes billable on the clock. You need to report everything. So just think about all the ad hoc time you've wasted there from getting up from your desk, going to the bank, doing all of that stuff. When if you literally just clicked online, clicked a couple buttons, and that money was transferred. So real admiration for you and the team, what you guys are doing, and really, like I said, empowering small business to, one, help them with technology and their technology stack, and two, really help them with business advisory rather than at the end of the year going, awesome, lovely, thanks for meeting me, here's your tax bill. You're going,
here's your tax bill, mate. See you next time.
and like I said, I worked at Xero for 3 years, and the clients that I used to have, and I looked after accountants and bookkeepers across New South Wales, they weren't even on Xero as a software. They were still using, I won't name names, but older style softwares where it's desktop based. And in 6 months' time, what I just never understood was, if you're not using a software that's online and cloud-based like Xero, what you're getting is you're getting advice. So say, for example, we do FY21's tax. I've gone and exported you, my accountant, the information from June 2021, that financial year. Not only have I given you old information, you've given me information to input. It's going to just, my ledger's always going to be off. So
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's basically the accounting software that these guys are using are desktop versions. So once you export that file, you actually have to transfer that file via email or via USB over to the accountant. Accountant makes the adjustments. But while making those adjustments for 1 month, you're also in your business transacting. So we've missed 1 month worth of transactions. So when we send this file back over to you, it's all wrong anyway. So it's always wrong.
And on top of that as well, another issue that I used to have when I was at Xero was when you're asking your client, the accountant's asking the client, please input this into your chart of accounts with the end of year balances. All these codes and numbers and stuff, they have no idea what they're doing.
And so it's wrong,
yeah. When it doesn't reconcile, like I know at the top of my head exactly every single account number that ever was, because obviously I learned when I was at university on MYOB, and then when I came through the accounting ranks, I was fortunate enough to be on Xero software while I was in practice. So I straight away knew the power of cloud-based technology. And on top of that as well, when you go into a client file, you can see what they did yesterday. You can see balances live. So like I said, moving away from that traditional, we'll see you once a year, you can give live updates to them. Again, if you have access to a client Xero file and Airwallex file, you can actually go, awesome, you're out on the tools, but you need to make this transfer. I'll go and create it within Airwallex. You can just let the client approve it. Once their client approves it, automatically that transaction's made. You paid the suppliers whatever needed. That'll feed through to Xero, reconcile if you've got bank rules. So it's really, and again, I'm biased because I work at Airwallex now and I was at Xero for quite a while, but I love how easy it is for small business. And again, technology is here to improve people's lives. It's not here to make anything more complicated. It's to simplify things down and just make it as minimalistic as possible.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. But thanks very much for your time.
Yep, appreciate it, mate. Again, love working with you and the team, and yeah, really looking forward to continue this wonderful partnership.
Yeah, mate. Good luck with Airwallex. I'm sure you're going to do an amazing job, man.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks heaps, and we'll catch you soon. I'll look forward to our next podcast in person.
We will, man. We'll do. See you, mate.
Take care. Bye.